Okay, in our last video we got our cylinder head mounted on here, and what we're going to do is the flywheel next. The flywheel has a keyway inside of here, so it can only go on the crankshaft in one direction. Make sure that the keyway is actually on the crankshaft, because if it's not, you'll be redoing things, and we're getting pretty good at redoing things around here. Okay, so here's our keyway here. I'm going to line that up. The reason this can only go on one way is because the magnet is the spark timing in this engine. Now, the flywheel blower, okay? The flywheel blower has some pins to locate it, and it only goes on one way. So it's pretty easy to see which way it goes on. And then this piece on here, this hub, goes on one way too. It actually has an arrow to locate top dead center of your piston on it. So this has to be put on the right way. It needs to be timed. There's a little third hole in there, and then there's a little tip sticking out here. So I'm gonna put that in, and then I've got the flywheel nut here. The torque spec tells us that the torque spec is 125 foot-pounds. That is definitely the tightest fastener on this engine. So I've got a deep socket here. And we've discussed in class the fact that I can torque this, but I've got no way to hold the engine from turning for 125 foot-pounds. It's just too much. So we have a plan to stop the engine from turning. I'm going to set the torque wrench to 125. I'm going to put the impact socket on it, and I'm going to find a spot where this is really comfortable to torque. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread this rope on top of the piston when the piston's all the way down. And I'm going to push some rope into the cylinder. The idea behind this is that when the piston comes up, it's going to compress the rope and it won't be able to go up anymore. It'll hold its position so I can torque it. I think I have enough rope in there. So now to torque this, I'm going to have to use my strength to hold down the cylinder head and torque at the same time. And that click is the torque. Now I want it to click again. My rope's starting to go. Guess we need more rope. There we go. We got enough rope. I had it click once. I would like to click it twice. There we go.
For last call for any students and staff that need picture retakes.
Picture retakes.
That's last call for picture retakes. Please go to cafeteria.
Okay. The idea behind the rope that is, if even some little bit of threads get left behind, that it's a light nylon thread, and it's on top of the piston of all things. We can turn the engine over, and we can get anything to come out the spark plug hole. Okay, so this is a fairly safe bet to hold your engine from turning when you torque your flywheel. That's the video for installing the flywheel.